Let's get more on one of our main stories. Boris Johnson, he's meeting his Irish counterpart Leo Varadkar for Brexit talks this afternoon. They're still going on. This is just days, of course, after European leaders expressed pessimism about reaching a deal by the end of this month. The two leaders are having what's been described as a private meeting to allow detailed discussions. Well, Chris Shirling-Rooke is the Chief Executive of Mersey Maritime. That's an organisation representing the interests of the ports and maritime sector on Merseyside. Good to talk to you this afternoon. And well, you're going to be watching the results of these talks just as closely as we are.
Absolutely. Our members want certainty. So just to put the maritime sector into some sort of context, in the City Region, it's worth about 4.2 billion a year and employs some 52,000 people. So it's a very big industry. And when we think about maritime, it's not just about ships and ports, but it's the universities, it's the engineering companies, it's offshore wind, it's the lawyers. So it's a very big industry with a very big supply chain. What our members are telling us, quite simply, is we want certainty. We want a deal. That's absolutely what we want. However, I think it's worth remembering that if there isn't a deal, it's also worth having a bit of faith in the maritime industry, because we've been trading globally for years, and we've committed right the way through this process to keep the lights on, to keep food on the table, to keep medicine coming through our ports.
Well, now, it's interesting you talk about that, because there does seem, when we talk about Brexit and we talk about ports, everybody seems to think about Dover, and actually the facts suggest it's the north of England that is really the backbone of when we're talking about trade by sea. So what are you, when you say, and it's really interesting to hear you suggest that when we're talking about a no deal, you're saying there's still cause for optimism?
I think we have to be optimistic. I mean, we're talking about an industry which is literally millennia old. We've been doing this for generations and generations and generations. Yeah, of course, it's going to be incredibly bumpy, and we absolutely do not want a no deal. But should we face the challenges of that, then I have no doubt that our industry will deliver. It's not going to be easy, but even in the last 100 years, I suspect we've had more difficult periods. So perhaps it's just time to have a little bit of faith in our industry and in the maritime sector specifically.
Well, I'm sure you've looked at this closer than anyone here has looked at it, but if there is, say, a border in the middle of the sea, how does that work in practice?
It's if, and this, I'm not going to be drawn on potential scenarios or deals or no deals. What I can say is that we want a deal, and actually I was listening a little earlier that we've somehow managed to avoid recession as UK PLC. I think the fact that industry is sort of moving on and doing the best it can in these very turbulent times, I think there is cause for optimism. And
a lot of jobs in the region, 52,000 jobs related to your industry specifically?
Yeah. Again, with Liverpool, generally, we're a very strong transatlantic port. We have one of the most advanced modern ports in the UK. It's constantly under investment. There's more investment in more cranes, which have been announced last week. We have a deep water terminal. So again, there is optimism. There is optimism because we are facing not towards the EU, but towards the rest of the world.
All right, Chris, very quickly, because I'm out of time, but I just want to know, November the 1st, you just want to know where we are. You don't want to see an extension. You just want to know where we go from there.
The not knowing, I think, is the biggest problem, because how can you prepare? How can you invest? How can you prepare your business when you don't know what you're preparing for? I think that's the big challenge. We just need a deal.
Chris Shirling-Rooke from Mersey Maritime. Really good to talk to you. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you very much.